Hello, you guys. Happy New Year. I'm so happy to talk to you, even if it's just a video today. Thank you for all the love after my surgery. I had so many calls and texts and flowers and visits. It was awesome. I am not 100% yet, but I will be great by the time I return to work on January 11th. But it was definitely harder than I thought, so I might walk a little slower than you're used to. This is our faculty meeting for January 5th. This normally would have been a faculty meeting, but I just hope that you'll watch this one video as a substitute. I would be completely tone deaf if I started our meeting without acknowledging the COVID safety concerns. I waited as long as I could to make this video so that I could be as current as possible with my information. And there was a called board meeting at 5, so I waited to see if there was a change, but it looks like there will be no changes and our kiddos will be coming back face to face on the 7th. I acknowledge and understand how terrifying this is for some of you. And I wish that I could say something other than that I acknowledge your fear. The HRT and Carrie and the administrative team led by Dr. Burse will do everything possible semester 2 to keep you guys as safe as they did semester 1. Thank you to Veronica Young and the counselors and the clerks and the support staff for making it possible for us to not have to combine classes ever, or very often anyway. So we will continue that practice. We will continue with our masks and with not congregating, and just know that every single decision that we make with consideration for how you will feel and how safe it will make you, and that will continue semester 2. Okay, so I know it's not necessarily what some of you guys want to hear, but just know that at least at Duluth Middle School, our first priority is to keep you guys healthy and safe. So let's get into the meat of our topic. I really wanted to do just a really quick review of my instructional vision for you, which I've talked about a lot, so it's not going to be anything new. But I thought at the beginning of the year it was appropriate just to do a little review to keep our goals at the forefront. And I'm going to do this review of instructional vision in the most crude way, which is via my Facebook posts and shares. I'm not friends with you guys on Facebook, but I love Facebook. My feed is very pathetic. I show pictures of my travels and my food and my kids. But if I see something educational or about kids that really resonates with me, I share it. So I'm going to show you my Facebook shares, and that'll be a review of my instructional vision and my goals and my hopes for this school year and how we can be super successful. So I'm going to make my little screen small and show you this PowerPoint. So the first thing you see is a review of sort of my non-negotiables, which you guys have heard a bunch of times. First one is we love all kids. We teach the AKS at high levels. We have very high expectations of all kids, which is very important to me, and I'll talk about that in just a second. And then we give students ample opportunities to show mastery, and that's another one that we'll talk about in just a second. The next, that's not a Facebook share, that's just my little document that I made as a visual, but the next one is so amazing. So a cousin of my husband put this on her Facebook page in the context of mental health. I think she was trying to talk about like taking baby steps in her treatment. And I saw it perfectly illustrating what I was talking about first semester with go slow, slow down, shorten your lessons. I don't want to get to the finish line with only half of our kids. When I saw this picture, I was like, yes, that's what I mean. So down here, you see this guy looking at the first rung of this ladder, and he can't even reach it on his tiptoes. He's just going to walk away from that ladder. So don't set goals that are so lofty for yourselves or for your kids that they're not, or you're not even going to attempt them. Look at this little guy up there at the top, taking nice, small, slow, and steady baby steps. One of the researched, proven ways to increase student motivation is to make opportunities for small successes, to celebrate small successes. Students who have been failing for a long time need tastes of success, little wins, little consistent wins that they can enjoy in order to increase their motivation and their grit and their resilience. So try to keep this in mind this semester, to make your lessons just a little shorter so that more kids can get more of them every time, and build on small successes. Because if we set our goals over here this wide and this far apart, we're only going to get the most high achieving kids to come to the end of the race with us. I love this picture, and it's one of my Facebook shares. Here's the next one. This is that one about expectations that is so important to me. The worst thing we can do for kids of poverty is to water things down for them because we think that they can't, or that they aren't capable because of their challenges. I believe that our kids are as brilliant as the kids down the street in more affluent parts of town. And I believe in telling them that they can and they will, and we will be there to support them every step of the way. When we let a kid tell us that they can't and we just accept it, then we let a 12-year-old make a decision for themselves. And who does that, right? So we need to tell our kiddos that they can and that they will. And when we expect them to do it, 9 times out of 10, they will. Will they do it immediately? Will they do it quickly? No. But that is where our persistence plays in. And if we take a relentless approach at telling them that they can and holding them to it and supporting them in a loving way, I believe that our kids will become exactly what we expect them to. However, I think this is a really recent share on Facebook. This one's big, especially during the pandemic. For those that you just can't get, no matter how hard you try, just love them. Just love them. Some of our kids have some major, major trauma right now that they're struggling through, whether it be pandemic related, issues of racial injustice that they're dealing with. So many reasons why kids are suffering. If we just can't get to them, at least love them until they're ready to be taught. And then this one is so big. We are not in the same boat. Some have yachts, some canoes, and some are drowning. You guys, during the pandemic, some of our families who have the ability to are creating learning pods for their kids and making them little spaces with tutors so that they can collaborate and learn together. And then we have other kids at extended stay motels where there's just 2 big beds and a kitchenette, and the only spot that they can sit is on the floor with their laptop, and sometimes there are 3, 4, and 5 kids in there. I've taken many students home to an extended stay when they were not picked up at school for one reason to another, and that is a canoe or is drowning when some of our other kids have yachts. So we must intervene in whatever way they can to meet kids where they are. And I really believe that we have a lot of kids in very widely varying situations that we need to be sensitive to. This one's the last one I want to show you. So I think this is a great time for me to talk to you about intervention because it's something that I was going to be very passionate about, pandemic or not, but COVID made the intervention conversation much more urgent and important. So it sort of accelerated our work in interventions. But when you have some kids who are in a yacht and some in a canoe and some who are drowning, you have to have interventions in place to be like safety nets or lifelines for our kids who don't get it as quickly or who don't get it the first time. So the first way we're always going to do interventions is just with great teaching. And in our classroom, we teach something for 10 minutes. We do a formative assessment. We read the room. We see half our kids are not with us, so we adjust and we try another way. Or we do a ticket out the door at the end of class. We see that these 10 kids didn't get it, so we make a little warm up tomorrow that is targeted just to them so that you can review and reteach. That's level 1 intervention that you guys do all day, every day. Then we have the next level, which happens in our help sessions, which is such a gift, a luxury that we have, where we bring kids back in and do some reteaching and reassess. The third level of intervention is what we tried to do when we did our Saturday school first semester. And I really appreciate Peggy taking care of that for us. That was a hard project. We attacked the problem of the NTI, but you guys worked like crazy. Half the kids didn't come, and then we realized after listening to you that it wasn't really solving the problem because it wasn't the NTI, it was the fact that they didn't know the content. So we heard you. We heard that it was not sustainable and that it wasn't really hitting the mark. So for second semester, we will do interventions that are much more focused on learning concepts instead of the transaction of turning in work. Some of our teachers have already started building modules that they can put on eClass for the kids after each unit. That would be like a couple videos of teaching, then some practice, then a little assessment, then some more videos. That might be by the teacher, it might be Khan Academy, whatever. But these little chunks of reteaching and reassessing that happen at the end of each unit that kids can access during Saturday school, that would show you that they actually had some working knowledge of the standard rather than just a worksheet that they were able to fill in. So interventions will take on that whole new feel for second semester. It's hugely important that we have this ample secondary opportunity for kids to show mastery, because hopelessness is the worst motivation killer. So if you ever get mad at a kid for not caring, make sure that you are providing them opportunities to get out of whatever hole they've dug themselves in, because otherwise there will be no desire for them to try to improve. So interventions 2.0 coming second semester, I'm really excited about. We'll talk a whole lot more about what they will look like, but we will provide you guys the coverage and the time to create these modules at school so that it is not extra work off contract hours. And we'll talk in our course teams about who will do them and when will be your turn and how they will be used to replace NTIs or low test scores or however your course team wants to use them. But I just wanted to remind you that interventions were still going to be a big part of our program, and they were going to have a little bit of a different feel, more authentic feel second semester. The last thing I want to say to you guys before I set you free on your day of learning and planning is this. Many of us disagree on some big stuff right now, right? And today, of all days, as if we didn't have enough stuff in the world, is basically another November 3rd election day for those of us in Georgia. So I would like to remind you that whatever side you're on politically, please leave that outside of the doors from 8:20 to 4:20. Whatever you do outside of those hours is completely up to you, and your Facebook pages are your own, rest assured. But while you're in the building, let's keep these political opinions and conversations completely shut off. We've already had some painful situations that took place September 1st that just force us on different teams and keep us from the common goal that we have, which is to take care of our kids. So please, I know we have big disagreements outside of the building, but once we're in this building, let's agree that our kiddos are our number one priority, and our colleagues down the hall, regardless of their political views, love our kids just as much as we do, and that is our common goal. So be kind to one another, even if you disagree on stuff, please. I miss you. I cannot wait to be back in the building with you. You guys are the absolute best, and I'm grateful every day that I get to work with you. Have a wonderful day of learning and planning, and I will see you on January 11th. Bye.